Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're tackling something that affects so many of us: burnout. We're going to break down the signs, talk about how to recognize it in ourselves and others, and most importantly, give you some practical tools to combat it. So whether you're feeling a little fried around the edges or you just want to be prepared, grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and let's jump right in. Okay, first things first, let's talk about exhaustion. We all have days when we're tired, right? But burnout exhaustion is different. It's like you could sleep for a week and still feel like you haven't even blinked. You wake up feeling just as tired as when you went to bed, and no amount of caffeine seems to help. Even the simplest tasks feel like monumental efforts. Recognizing this exhaustion for what it is, a sign of burnout, is the first step towards reclaiming your energy. So if you're constantly feeling drained, take a moment to acknowledge it. Your body is trying to tell you something, and it's time to listen. So you're feeling that exhaustion we talked about, and now you're finding it hard to concentrate. Things that used to be second nature suddenly feel like rocket science. You find yourself rereading the same sentence over and over again. It's like your brain is stuck in a fog. It's not a sign of weakness, it's just your brain's way of saying, hey, I need a break here. When you push yourself too hard for too long, your brain starts to protest. So if you're finding it hard to concentrate, don't beat yourself up about it. Recognize that it's a sign you need to slow down and prioritize your well-being. All right, Rad Warriors, let's talk about losing interest in things you used to love. Remember when you were excited about that new hobby or game night with friends? But lately, those things just don't spark the same joy. This is another telltale sign of burnout. When we're burned out, our energy reserves are depleted and it becomes harder to find motivation. It's like our inner batteries are running on empty. The important thing is to recognize this as a sign of burnout and not a reflection of who you are. Your passions are still there. They're just taking a little break while you recharge. Focus on giving yourself the rest and support you need to get back to feeling like your amazing, passionate self. Have you been feeling a little more irritable than usual lately, like everything and everyone is getting on your last nerve? Irritability is another common symptom of burnout. When we're burned out, our fuse gets shorter, and things that wouldn't normally bother us suddenly feel like major annoyances. It's important to remember that irritability is often a sign that we're overwhelmed and in desperate need of a break. So, if you find yourself snapping at your loved ones or feeling constantly on edge, it's time to take a step back and assess the situation. Don't ignore those feelings of irritability. They're trying to tell you something important. Listen to your body, acknowledge your limits, and prioritize your well-being. Now, Rad Warriors, we've talked about the emotional and mental signs of burnout, but burnout can also manifest in physical ways. When we're chronically stressed and burned out, our bodies go into survival mode. We're talking headaches, stomach aches, and muscle tension. And don't even get me started on the sleep problems. Insomnia, anyone? The worst part is that these physical symptoms can sneak up on you. Your body is trying to tell you something, and it's time to listen. Remember, our minds and bodies are interconnected. So if you're experiencing persistent physical symptoms, consider whether burnout might be a contributing factor and take steps to address it. Okay, Rad Warriors, we've talked about the signs and symptoms of burnout, but now let's get to the good stuff, how to combat it. And my number one tip, self-care. We're talking about making self-care a non-negotiable part of your daily routine. Think of it like brushing your teeth or paying your bills. It's just something you do, no excuses. Self-care doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. It can be as simple as taking 5 minutes to meditate, going for a walk in nature, or listening to your favorite music. The key is to find something you enjoy and makes you feel good, and then make it a habit. Remember, self-care is not selfish, it's essential. When you prioritize your well-being, you're better equipped to handle stress, prevent burnout, and show up as your best self. So there you have it, Rad Warriors. We talked about recognizing those sneaky signs of burnout, from exhaustion and difficulty focusing to losing interest and those pesky physical symptoms. But remember, you're not alone in this journey, and there are things you can do to combat burnout and reclaim your well-being. Prioritize self-care, set those boundaries like a boss, get moving, nourish your body with delicious and nutritious food, find your zen with mindfulness, and never hesitate to reach out for support when you need it. Remember, asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness.